All right, I think we're good.
Okay, well, sounds good. All right, well, welcome everybody. This is our 2023 State of Peace Corps Vanuatu chat. Today we are here with Jennifer Weiss, is that how you say your last name?
Yep.
Who is the Director of Programming and Training for Peace Corps Vanuatu. Jennifer, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit and how you got to become get into the role of DPT.
Sure. Hi, everybody. Kuplomitimu. So my name is Jen Weiss, and yes, I'm the DPT here. I've been with Peace Corps Vanuatu for about a year now. How I got to be here in Vanuatu is a great story. I won't go on to a full story on about it, but I will say a couple highlights. First of all, my husband is a Vanuatu RPCV. He served here from 2002 to 2005. So he was in Cole Village on East Coast Santo. And then
Okay.
he did a third year in Luganville. I'm also an RPCV. I served in Honduras from 2002 to 2004. And we met after we had both come back to the US after our service. And we came to Vanuatu on our honeymoon in 2012.
Okay.
And yeah, just like we're so my husband loved Vanuatu. His name is Lauren Halter, if any of you know or remember him. And Lauren and I were just, yeah, both so taken with this country and kind of had this like joke that somehow we would end up back here one day, never
Aw.
actually thinking it would happen. My background's in public health, and I've always worked at NGOs. And we were living actually in Malawi, Southern Africa. And I saw a job here in Vanuatu working for Save the Children. And so I jumped at it. So we actually moved here to Vanuatu in 2018. So we've been here
Okay.
for 5 years now. And I had always wanted to come back and work for Peace Corps again. But I also didn't want to leave Vanuatu, and I wasn't sure how it was all going to work out. But as things have a way of working themselves out. So after 4 years with Save the Children here, the DPT position opened up, and somehow the stars aligned, and I was able to join the team here. So that's my story. The most amazing thing is that, some of the Peace Corps Vanuatu staff who have been around forever, Auntie Happy and Sally, they were on staff even when my husband was a volunteer. So it's a
Yes,
total
they've been
trip.
on staff for a while.
It's a total trip for that all to happen. It feels very full circle. And we've got two young kids here with us, Caleb, who is 7, and Layla, who is 3.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right, Jennifer, go ahead and answer or give us your perspective
Your
on
perspective, yes.
the state of Peace Corps Vanuatu right now.
Well, that's a
State of
great
Peace.
question.
The state of Peace Corps Vanuatu is forward-looking, I would say. So we are getting ever closer to finally welcoming volunteers back to Vanuatu, which, we are so excited about after a really long pause due to the global evacuation. So we are just in preparation mode, all systems kind of going ahead. There's been a lot of kind of initiatives happening at our global level to kind of improve some of our key processes. So, for example, there's been a big initiative around kind of improving our training design and assessment process. So we're kind of revamping what our PST looks like a little bit to align with that. Very much more focused around kind of achieving competencies. So that's a change of language, and it's a little bit of change around how we think about PST and kind of service as a ongoing learning journey. We are re-engaging around site development and site identification, and we just went on our first visits last month to start to visit potential sites for volunteers, which is really exciting. So yes, I would say across kind of all teams, we are, I think the state of us is kind of forward looking and just preparation mode, and everybody is really excited.
Glad to hear that. What are
Yeah.
some what does site identification look like right now? Are we working on sites closer to Port Vila or farther away, or what are we looking at for those?
Yeah, for this first cohort back, we are going to try to keep everybody a bit close, but not too close. We don't want, people swooping all over each other. So we are looking at sites on Afate and the offshore islands, around Sanma province, and then a few sites on Malakula, mostly the ones close to Norsup. So the idea is that, at least for this first cohort, we're sending people where there's at least, easy access to daily flights,
Right.
back to Vila if need be. So that's what we're looking for at the moment. And we've requested 30 volunteers, 15 for health and 15 for literacy. So yeah, that's what we're hoping for.
That sounds good. And anything you'd like to add to that, Penny?
So I love the way that Jen's framing it, forward-looking and forward-facing. Now on a global, bigger scale, the embassy is looking to have a bigger presence here.
Oh, yes.
And so there's a big team that came for 2 weeks looking at locations for their office, and eventually an embassy.
Mhm.
And so there'll be a stronger USG presence here with, the embassy, the USAID, and other folks as well. And so we're assisting in some levels in offering knowledge and guidance, but it's going to make a bigger footprint and bigger, bigger presence for the USG here. So looking forward in that. And then also in the global, another thing is that the climate and some of the initiatives around climate and other things, aligning closer to that and doing more activities, addressing issues around climate, especially with the climate, I forgot the initiative, climate win. We call it the climate win.
Okay.
Jen, you know what I'm talking about. The vote by the UN.
Oh, okay. Yes, with Ralph
Unanimous vote.
Reagan-Vanu.
Yes. Yep.
The climate justice. Yes.
Yes, the climate justice. And I was talking to the minister about that, and he said it's the first time in history that it's unanimous decision across all countries. Usually there's always one dissenting or so it's been quite historic in that way. So in that way, we are facing forward and aligning ourselves with our partners, the ministry, and with the USG.
Yes, I've been noticing the past few years, since there's been no volunteers, a lot of meetings that the Post has been holding with all of your stakeholders in the area. What response have you gotten from them
regarding our work, our presence? Our partners have always been supportive of Peace Corps. And I always say it's because of the RPCVs and the work that you all did, and making it easier for us to continue. There's a reason there's a lot of RPCVs who never leave Vanuatu. It's a great place in the work, and it's just a welcoming community. And so they're supportive of any initiatives that we have, any ideas that we have going forward. We have 4 virtual service participants. Is it 4 or 3? 4. 3. So engaging with the local NGO and also engaging with the Ministry of Health for Schaefer Province. So any ideas that we have, suggestions, let's do this. We have partners who are willing and eager to partner with us. During the Pause Without Volunteers, we completed over 30 pivot projects, so staff-led initiatives, ranging from the nutty of overseeing the mascot contest for the outbreak alert system.
Oh,
It was a
okay.
conch
Yeah.
shell. And
Yeah.
that was quite fun. To Mama's English class that's still continuing on, teaching mamas how to read and increasing English literacy. And so in this province and other places as well, to Smart Sisters.
Oh, yeah.
So all of these things are continuing because of our partnerships and because of the work that RPCs have done to continue and support our work.
Nice. I have seen about those virtual opportunities to serve. Now that's a new program that Peace Corps itself has implemented, I do believe. Could you talk a little bit more about those? I find those very interesting. Are they kind of like a response program, but virtually?
The timing of your question is excellent, because we're just onboarding 2 new participants this morning, and I
Okay.
will throw it to Jen to answer, because she her and her team have been working very, very closely and getting it up and running.
Yes, let me just use this opportunity to put in a plug
Yes.
for you all to check out the virtual service pilot program. So this is a new initiative that Peace Corps headquarters came up with during the pandemic. It is a pilot, so I think to make it a formal part of Peace Corps would require like a full modification of the Peace Corps Act. So it is it does still have the word pilot in it, but essentially the opportunity is open for any RTCV to donate their time and volunteer on an initiative. Usually it's about 5 to 15 hours a week for a period of usually up to 6 months. And, you know, ideally, it would be amazing if it was a Vanuatu RPCV volunteering for a Vanuatu pilot project, but you don't have to, you know, you don't have to align like that. It can be any RPCV for any project. So I can send you the link to kind of where this is, where the kind of different openings and opportunities are listed on the website. But we have 2 different pilot projects, virtual projects running at the moment. So one is helping Ikana Breast Cancer Foundation develop their strategic plan, which is really exciting. So that's been going on for the past couple months now. And then we just kicked off another one with actually 2 virtual service participants supporting Tafea Provincial Health Team with some of their monitoring and evaluation efforts. We also have a couple of positions still open on the website. We're looking for literacy tutors who could work in some of the primary schools around Port Vila to help lead some literacy tutoring sessions. So awesome opportunity to kind of continue service from the comfort of your own home. And to maintain connections to your country or to have an opportunity to develop connections with another country. It's also a great opportunity, like a great professional development opportunity. Folks are interested in looking at like that. So yes, spread the word.
Yeah, definitely send that to me. We're going to get our newsletter out here soon, so I'll definitely have that in our newsletter with this. So yeah, that sounds like a very exciting way to keep in relation with our whole the country that we served in. I know a lot of volunteers are trying to find a way to keep in contact, and yeah, that sounds like a nice way to do that. Are there any fears or any problems that we are working on or that we are expecting for the future? I know it's a big move to get volunteers back into the country. I remember being a PCVL and welcoming the new group and getting them all ready. So is there any fears that you have going on right now?
There are no fears, just opportunities. No, I think one of the strengths of the team is that they've been doing this for a very long time, and we're a wee bit out of practice. Our travel legs are off and volunteer legs are little, but it'll all come back. It'll just take 1-2 days and then whoop, they'll get this.
Like riding a bike.
Like riding a bike or riding a canoe or in a boat. Drinking kava. I think it'll all come back. No, it's the timing. One of my concerns is that the number of volunteers, we've requested 40 volunteers, 20 for health and 20 for literacy, correct? 30. I keep doing that. I keep upping the number. And Jen's like, stop upping the number. 30. So 15 and 15. And right now we have a class filled. But
good.
Volunteers or invitees dropping off due to timing, life happening, not being cleared. The numbers that we're hoping for may not be there. And we're looking at creative ways to keep them engaged as we are engaging with them throughout this process. And maybe, but hopefully keeping the numbers up to 30. That is it's not even a fear. It's a thought. It's a thought that we have to navigate. Jen, do you have any fears?
Only those.
Oh, well, good.
You know what? Let me also be my other fear or thought, concern is that, as you know, to have volunteers return, we have to have the ICU up and running, approved
Yes.
by medical OHS, the Office of Health Services. My thought
Yeah.
concern is that it won't be approved in time or ready in time, or we'll have setbacks that are outside of our control to do that, which then will delay the arrival of our trainees. But we can only do what we can do for that. But that's a thought.
Right. Because COVID really has changed not only how Vanuatu works, but how Peace Corps works, and different requirements. Could you speak a little bit more about the requirements that have changed for Vanuatu about volunteers coming?
I think the big one is the medical
Okay.
one. I'll speak post-wide, and then Jen can talk programming and training. I think the big one is the medical one. The other thing, that it was the opportunity for Peace Corps globally to really evaluate some of the policies and pause to see what's been effective, and just to take a fine-tooth comb and look at what's working. And so that brought a lot of new changes around some just policies, and more oversight, and more communication and reporting, certainly, and documentation, to make sure that, you know, we're supporting volunteers and volunteers feel supported.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing that COVID globally has impacted the way we relate to each other, and people going online, and more mental health issues or identification of mental health issues and support around that. And then how do we knowingly know this and support volunteers to be successful in this ever-changing, I mean, the world changed after 2020,
Right.
good, bad, and indifferent. And so then how do we support volunteers for their success in communities that are, you know, remote? That's the medical requirement. So that's, you know, on the bigger scale. Programmatically, Jen?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the silver linings of us getting volunteers so late is that a lot of the requirements around COVID has been loosened as time has gone on. So we will be fortunate to not have to adhere to some of those. But, you know, just some really simple things that have big implications, you know. So for example, the invitees need to do a COVID test before they get on the plane. If they're
Wow.
positive, you know, that means they have to wait and join the class later. They also have to test again, you know, once in country, and I think on day 5. So if they're positive, or if they get sick during PST, they need to self-isolate, you know. So like, what does that mean? And so we've got just a lot of those practical things still that we need to work out. Like, you can't exactly Zoom somebody into a PST session from their host family bedroom.
No.
So we still have to work out like just some of those like nitty gritty things. So, I mean, we're hopeful that that occurrence won't be common, but I'm very positive it'll happen at least once, you know, to somebody. So the good news is that we've learned from everybody else that have gone through this, and how people have been creative. Thank you. In terms of mitigating this, but it's definitely a consideration. And just like Penny said, kind of around the mental health aspect, you know, like, we are seeing globally that volunteers, especially young volunteers, are really different. Like, they've come out of a pandemic where they spent a long time at home interacting via Zoom. And to take that jump and then move to, you know, a Peace Corps environment, especially in Vanuatu. I think in other posts, maybe the jump wouldn't be so great, but in Vanuatu, it's a big one. You know, we don't do virtual anything here.
No.
We don't have the internet to do that. So, you know, that's shown up in a lot of different ways for volunteer support, supporting them during PST, supporting them while they're at site. So it is something that we're really mindful of. And globally, Peace Corps has grown and to, you know, step up to that challenge to support volunteers. And it's something that we're thinking a lot about here too.
Well, that's good to hear. We are running out of time here. If anybody wants to finish up, last couple minutes, finish up with what they'd like to say, and I think we'll be done for this one.
I do want to reiterate again the importance of your service, which makes, and I keep saying this, makes our job so much easier, because of the great work that the friends that you did during your service just makes communities want volunteers and want to be constantly engaged with Peace Corps. So, with great thanks, that makes our job much, much, much easier. We don't have to undo that volunteer story. We always have one, that volunteer stories.
Yeah.
We have the opposite of, oh, we want, Aaron back and we want Lauren back. And we're looking for a volunteer like, Donna to come and serve. That's easier to mitigate against versus, the opposite. So thank you.
Well, it's really great to hear. Well, it was nice talking to both of you. Hopefully we will talk again soon. We don't have to wait a whole year. Maybe we could talk again in a few months. Maybe get some more people in here to talk. It's been lovely. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you, Erin.
Bye.
Bye.